Can you talk about how these freak-offs basically sound like R. Kelly on steroids?
It really made me think of R. Kelly when I read this indictment and I saw exactly what the allegations were. The conduct is very similar. You're talking about coercion, threats, cover-ups, and everything for the sexual gratification of the individual, in this case Combs. It really mirrors a lot of what we saw play out in the R. Kelly trial. With Combs, though, it's even to a higher degree than we saw with R. Kelly.
The indictment alleges that those individuals facilitated the freak-offs. They booked the hotel rooms and stocked them with the supplies, including drugs, baby oil, personal lubricant, extra linens, and lighting. When the hotel rooms got damaged, they helped clean it up.
Welcome back to Mindset Devil. A wise man once said that absolute power corrupts absolutely. For example, success and the fame monster can alter most people once they reach financial freedom. Eventually, they get so cocky and so used to getting whatever they want in this world that they eventually only get off on having whatever it is they can't have. Life without challenges to people motivated by the thrill of the chase is, in their minds, no life at all. Sean P. Diddy Combs has been officially charged with triple X trafficking, racketeering conspiracy, and transportation to engage in prostitution, according to an indictment that was officially unsealed. And as expected, Diddy has pleaded not guilty to the charges in a New York federal court. Yet still, even though he arrived back in New York City and was expected to turn himself in the day before he was arrested, the judge denied him a chance to bail out. So he is going to remain in federal custody while he attempts to beat the case. Let's have this discussion. The charges were revealed after he was taken into custody by federal authorities in New York the night before, in connection with an ongoing investigation by Homeland Security Investigations. In the indictment, prosecutors allege that Diddy was part of a criminal organization that engaged in, or either attempted to engage in, triple X trafficking, forced labor, kidnapping, arson, bribery, and obstruction of justice, as well as a host of other offenses not mentioned from the indictment. The arson part, I can't believe, made its way into the charges listed in the indictment, because we all thought that accusation to be just a rumor. The arson comes from rapper Kid Cudi, who actually accused Diddy of torching his car right outside of his home as a message to stop smashing Diddy's ex-girlfriend Cassie Ventura. The rumors have actually gained significant credibility because Cassie also told people Diddy told her himself that he was going to do it before it actually went down. The indictment alleges that there were multiple victims in the case. Diddy is accused of assaulting women on numerous occasions, starting in 2009 and continuing for years, according to the indictment. The indictment also alleges that between at least 2008 and the present time, Diddy aka Brother Love abused, threatened, and coerced victims to fulfill his twisted desires, protect his reputation, and to conceal his conduct. Diddy led and participated in a racketeering conspiracy that used the business empire he controlled to carry out criminal activity. According to the indictment, the bad boy rapper manipulated women to participate in highly orchestrated performances of nasty buzzard activity with male commercial freak workers. He also allegedly arranged for women and commercial nasty buzzard workers to be flown in for his personal pleasures. The U.S. attorney conducting the press conference and public briefing of the indictment and the federal charges against Diddy told the media that he ensured participation from the women by, among other things, obtaining and distributing narcotics to them, controlling their careers, leveraging his financial support, and threatening to cut off the same, and using intimidation and violence, the indictment alleges. The U.S. attorney also said that the investigation into Diddy was ongoing, and that additional charges weren't off the table. He also said that others could face charges in the case as well. So, I guess Diddy will also have some co-defendants that are probably most likely going to snitch to save their own asses. Or they can keep their mouths shut and just save their asses for the booty bandits that are going to be circling the prison showers like bloodthirsty sharks when they get to the penitentiary.
Save you forever. I said, I'm telling you what, now I like you, and I want you. And we can do it the easy way or the hard way. Some of the choices yours, right? And it was always yes.
Johnson also had a warning for the new generation of inmates. They might be asking for trouble from old-timers.
You know, they got this thing where they sag their pants past their butt. It's a style, they call it some sort of gangster style. You know, it's sexy to us, right? And see, but they weren't prepared for this, right? So you sag your pants in her, man, somebody be up in your butt, you know, and it just says so.
So, anyone that participated and happened to have watched the public briefing from the safety of their own homes is probably shaking in their boots right now, especially after hearing the U.S. Attorney, whose name is Damian Williams, by the way, said this.
The indictment alleges that Combs abused and exploited women and other people for years, and in a variety of ways. As alleged, Combs used force, threats of force, and coercion to cause victims to engage in extended sexual performances with male commercial sex workers, some of whom he transported or caused to be transported over state lines. Combs allegedly planned and controlled the sex performances, which he called freak-offs, and he often electronically recorded them. The freak-offs sometimes lasted days at a time, involved multiple commercial sex workers, and often involved a variety of narcotics, such as ketamine, ecstasy, and GHB, which Combs distributed to the victim to keep them obedient and compliant. As alleged, when Combs didn't get his way, he was violent, and he subjected victims to physical, emotional, and verbal abuse so that they would participate in the freak-offs, and that Combs hit, kicked, threw objects at, and dragged victims, at times by their hair. On one occasion in March of 2016, that conduct was captured on video and later reported in the media. Specifically, Combs kicked, dragged, and threw a vase at a victim in a Los Angeles hotel when the victim was attempting to flee. As alleged, these assaults often resulted in injuries to the victims, which took days or weeks to heal. In addition to the violence, the indictment alleges that Combs threatened and coerced victims to get them to participate in the freak-offs. He used the embarrassing and sensitive recordings he made of the freak-offs as collateral against the victims.
This office is determined to investigate and prosecute anyone who engages in booty trafficking, no matter how powerful or wealthy or famous you may be, Williams said. The indictment refers to an incident caught on hotel security cameras in 2016. CNN aired the footage earlier this year, which appears to show Combs attacking the singer Cassie, whose legal name is Cassandra Ventura, in a Los Angeles hotel hallway. In the CCTV video captured in the hotel that day, it shows Cassie as she was trying to escape what is said to be one of Diddy's freak-off sessions. Diddy runs out in just a towel around his naked body, searching for her. Once he finds her by the elevators, he drags her to the ground and begins forcefully barbecuing her ribs, completely oblivious to the cameras recording the sickening event in real time. In May, Combs apologized for the incident, saying his behavior was inexcusable and that he took full responsibility for his actions.
I was up. I hit rock bottom, but I make no excuses. My behavior on that video is inexcusable. I was disgusted then when I did it, I'm disgusted now. I went and I sought out professional help. I had to go into therapy, I'm going to rehab. I had to ask God for his mercy and grace. I'm so sorry.
According to the indictment, Diddy also attempted to bribe a hotel security staff member who intervened in the incident by offering a huge wad of cash just to keep the worker quiet. Diddy allegedly referred to the nasty buzzard incidents as, quote, unquote, freak-offs, according to the indictment, which is definitely not going to help his defense at all, in my opinion. Prosecutors said Diddy directed these freak-offs, often recorded them, and also distributed controlled substances to the victims, which helped make them obedient and compliant to however he wanted to get off. He then used the embarrassing and sensitive recordings he made of freak-offs as collateral against the victims. And the indictment also alleges that Diddy maintained control over the victims in several ways, including by giving them street pharmaceuticals, by threatening to take away financial support or housing, by promising them career opportunities, by monitoring their whereabouts, and even by dictating their physical appearance. Apparently, the victims didn't believe that they could refuse Combs without risking their security or facing more abuse. Prosecutors also accused Diddy of carrying or brandishing guns to intimidate and threaten victims and witnesses. Homeland Security Investigations agents who raided Combs' homes in Los Angeles and Miami in March found a black attache of firearms and ammunition, including 3 AR-15s that someone attempted to scratch the serial numbers off of, as well as a large-capacity drum magazine. Now, this discovery flies directly in the face of online netizens and Diddy's attorney, who wanted to believe Diddy's civil rights were violated when the raid on his mansions was carried out like a military assault and treated Diddy like he was a known terrorist or the leader of a Mexican cartel. But they did that because whoever tipped them off knew about the weaponry also. Because not only did Diddy have an arsenal of firearms in the closet in his bedroom, but he also had some with serial numbers scratched off too, which makes anybody with a piece of meat between their ears ask the question, now, why on earth does a billionaire living in an open carry state, which allows non-felons to purchase guns, have to have heaters that appear as if they are stolen? We're talking about his home in Miami, Florida here. He already has been tied to at least 2 shootings that we know of. The one back in the 90s when he ended up in an altercation where shots were fired, and he tried to give the heater to J-Lo, which made that her last time chilling with him. And the case switched over to his artist rapper Shine, who took the rap for him and went to prison in place of Diddy. Then the alleged incident where Diddy and his son supposedly bodied a man with the heater and left him in a bathroom to bleed out. This was alleged by a bodyguard that was working for Diddy at the time. Ironically, that dirty laundry was aired right before the feds ran up in Diddy's mansions with warrants, which was when the wheels of justice against him started finally turning this year. William Walker, the acting special agent in charge of the New York Field Office of Homeland Security Investigations, commended those who came forward to authorities. Today, we shatter any false notion of impunity as we uncover the defendant's alleged pattern of manipulation, exploitation, and outright abuse, Walker said in a statement Tuesday. Make no mistake, we are here today only because of the unwavering strength of victims and witnesses who have already endured unspeakable hardships. Mark Agnifilo, an attorney for Diddy, issued a statement Monday night following reports of Diddy's arrest. We are disappointed with the decision to pursue what we believe is an unjust prosecution of Mr. Diddy by the U.S. Attorney's Office. He described Mr. Freakoff as a music icon, self-made entrepreneur, loving family man, and proven philanthropist, and added, he is an imperfect person, but he is definitely not a criminal. Ironically, the same could be said for John Wayne Gacy, the nasty buzzard that had a thing for young boys. So much so that he had about 32 of them buried in the crawl space under his home. But of course, that's a whole other video for a whole different channel. Now, back to Mr. Freakoff. Agnifilo said that Diddy has been nothing but cooperative with this investigation, and he voluntarily relocated to New York last week in anticipation of these charges. Please reserve your judgment until you have all the facts. These are the acts of an innocent man with nothing to hide, and he looks forward to clearing his name in court. Combs has faced a number of lawsuits in recent months involving allegations of XXX misconduct, abuse, and violence. Diddy and his representatives have denied all the accusations. In November 2023, Ventura filed a lawsuit accusing Diddy of forceful penetration and abuse during their relationship. He denied the accusations, but then they reached a settlement the following day.
Cassandra Ventura, also known as Cassie, filed a lawsuit in November alleging Combs raped her and forced her to engage in sex trafficking. The two parties settled the suit the day after she filed.
But once he did that, after she made her threats publicly, even though Diddy decided to pay her to keep her pleasure piece silent, Little Rod started making his accusations known to law enforcement and the whole world also. And yes, I know I said Little Rod, no Diddy, but how fitting. Now here's my take on the matter. I still can't say for sure that I believe Diddy is guilty of everything they're accusing him of, but the wide range of evidence that the feds have already made public pretty much adds credibility to the fact that it's looking pretty obvious that P. Diddy took the phrase bad boy way too literally. It seems he really meant it when he told the world, I thought I told you that we won't stop. But he left out the last part of that bar, which is we won't stop until the feds come a-knocking, that is. The funny thing about the RICO law is that it was supposedly intended to take down organized crime bosses who were always able to throw rocks at glass houses and hide their hands. In other words, they were able to make money off of criminal activity while their underlings and soldiers ended up taking the full weight of the punishment. The bosses were untouchable, so to speak. But once the racketeer influenced and corrupt organizations, better known as the RICO Act, became law, the feds started bringing down the whole family from bottom to top. It was very successful for the federal government because bosses, even at 75 or 80 years old, started getting 100 years in federal prison. That same law is now being used to dismantle any criminal enterprises at any level. Just ask Young Thug and Bobby Shmurda. The only thing is, now someone like P. Diddy can end up doing football numbers in prison just for being a power-tripping nasty buzzard. Now, Brother Love is looking like he's going to be loved by a gang of brothers once the feds finish with him. The question of whether or not Diddy really did it is now starting to look like, yes, Diddy did it, and now he's about to pay for it. But what are your thoughts on this insanity? Do you think Diddy is guilty of all charges and needs to be punished to the full extent of the law, just like any common criminal? Or do you think that the Matrix is just hating on another black man who has been able to build an empire in America more lucrative than 99% of other men in this country? Do you feel he may be guilty of some of the things he's being accused of? Or just innocent of all charges and should be found not guilty? Or do you feel that instead of turning himself in the way he did, he should have just cashed out all of his assets and did the Russell Simmons shuffle, moved to a place with no extradition laws, and just stayed there? Either way, make your voice heard in the comments section below. Thanks for watching, as I really appreciate you taking the journey into the depths with me. Give this video a like if you enjoyed the topic, and make sure to hit that subscribe button to join the movement. And I'll see you at the next meeting. Until then, stay dangerous.